In the heart of ancient Israel, among the rugged landscapes where once resounded the poignant echoes of a shepherd's flute, a young shepherd and future king, David, wrote timeless verses that would transcend the ages. In Psalm 23, David's lyrical mastery weaves a tapestry of deep trust and divine connection. As we enter the sacred realm of this poetic masterpiece, we cross the hills of Judea, where sheep graze under David's watchful eye, and witness a poetic symphony that echoes through time. Beyond its historical roots, Psalm 23 beckons us to a sanctuary where the divine shepherd guides our souls through the valleys of life, offering solace, protection, and an unshakable assurance that has resonated through the corridors of faith for millennia. Join the journey through the poetic landscape of Psalm 23, where the shepherd's psalm transcends its ancient origins to speak to the depths of the human spirit, a timeless testament to the enduring bond between the seeker and the shepherd king. Here are some key elements of the historical context of Psalm 23. Davidic authorship. Traditionally, Psalm 23 is attributed to King David, the second king of Israel. David's life is depicted in the Old Testament, particularly in the books of Samuel. He was a shepherd boy who later became a successful warrior, musician, and king. Shepherd imagery. David's experience as a shepherd greatly influenced the imagery and metaphors used in Psalm 23. The psalm begins with the famous words, "The Lord is my shepherd," drawing on David's personal understanding of the responsibilities and care involved in tending to a flock. Ancient Near Eastern shepherding culture. In the ancient Near East, shepherding was a common occupation, and it often held symbolic significance. The shepherd was responsible for leading, protecting, and providing for the sheep, making the metaphor of God as a shepherd particularly meaningful to the people of that time. Religious context. Psalm 23 is situated within the broader religious context of ancient Israelite monotheism. The psalm reflects a deep personal relationship between the worshiper and Yahweh, the God of Israel. The imagery of God as a caring and guiding shepherd reinforces the idea of a personal and intimate connection with the divine. Historical challenges. David faced numerous challenges throughout his life, including conflicts with enemies, political turmoil, and personal struggles. Some scholars interpret Psalm 23 as David expressing his trust in God's guidance and protection amid adversity. Temple worship. Psalms were often used in the worship practices of ancient Israel, including the worship at the temple in Jerusalem. Psalm 23 have been used in communal worship settings, serving as a hymn of trust and devotion. Understanding the historical and cultural context of Psalm 23 enhances its significance, allowing readers to appreciate the depth of the psalmist's expression of trust and reliance on God as a caring shepherd. The metaphor of the shepherd and the sheep, eloquently portrayed in Psalm 23, unfolds as a profound allegory resonating through the corridors of spirituality. In contemplating this metaphor, the shepherd emerges as the epitome of care, guidance, and unwavering devotion. The sheep, vulnerable and dependent, symbolize humanity's innate need for protection and guidance. The shepherd's role extends beyond mere provision. It encompasses an intimate knowledge of each sheep, a familiarity born from daily companionship. In this, we find a reflection of the divine, a compassionate force intimately acquainted with our individual struggles, fears, and vulnerabilities. The shepherd's watchful eye mirrors a vigilant deity, overseeing our journey through life's varied landscapes. Yet, there is an inherent reciprocity in this metaphor. As the sheep entrust their well-being to the shepherd, there's a silent agreement to follow, to yield to the shepherd's guidance. This interdependence mirrors the delicate dance between human free will and divine guidance, a dynamic relationship where trust is forged in the crucible of choice. The valleys and shadows depicted in the psalm become metaphorical landscapes of life's trials and uncertainties. The shepherd's rod and staff, emblematic of protection and correction, signify a caring yet corrective hand. It acknowledges that growth often arises from gentle nudges and, at times, necessary corrections, a duality inherent in the journey of self-discovery and spiritual maturation. In contemplating the shepherd and the sheep, we find a universal narrative of seeking, surrender, and solace. It invites us to consider our own vulnerabilities, acknowledging the tumultuous terrain we navigate. Yet, it assures us of a divine presence, a shepherd ever watchful, guiding us through the shadows and into the light. This metaphor, woven with timeless threads, beckons us to reflect on our own journey, fostering a profound sense of trust in the midst of life's uncertainties. Here's an explanation of resting in green pastures in the context of Psalm 23. Symbolism of green pastures. Abundance. Green pastures symbolize abundance and provision. In an agrarian society, green grass represents fertile land where sheep can graze and find sustenance. Spiritually, it conveys God's abundant provision for His people. Rest and contentment. Rest, the act of making the sheep lie down in green pastures, suggests a deliberate, caring action by the shepherd. It speaks to the idea of rest and contentment, emphasizing that God provides not only what is necessary for survival but also a place of peace and repose. Trust and guidance. Shepherd's role. The imagery highlights the active role of the shepherd in leading the sheep. In the shepherd-sheep relationship, the shepherd determines when and where the flock rests. This underscores the idea of trust and reliance on God's guidance for the believer's life journey. Spiritual nourishment. Nourishment for the soul. Beyond physical sustenance, the green pastures symbolize spiritual nourishment. Just as sheep require green grass for their well-being, believers find sustenance and nourishment for their souls in the presence and provision of God. Contrast with arid conditions. Relief from harshness. The mention of green pastures creates a sharp contrast with arid and harsh environments. It conveys the idea that God provides not just the bare minimum for survival but a rich, flourishing environment where the believer can experience relief from life's challenges. In essence, resting in green pastures encapsulates the concept of divine care, abundance, and spiritual flourishing within the context of Psalm 23. It invites believers to trust in the shepherd's guidance and find deep, restful satisfaction in the provisions of God. Here's an explanation of the valley of the shadow of death in the context of Psalm 23. Symbolism of the valley. Life's challenges. The valley symbolizes a low point or a difficult stretch in the journey of life. It represents times of adversity, trials, or hardships that individuals may go through. Life is often metaphorically described as a journey with peaks and valleys, and this valley signifies the darker and more challenging periods. The shadow of death. Symbolic danger. The addition of the shadow of death intensifies the metaphor, suggesting not only difficulty but potential danger and threat. It encompasses various forms of adversity, including physical danger, emotional distress, spiritual struggles, or the existential challenges that can cast a shadow over one's life. Courage in the face of fear. Fearlessness. Despite facing daunting circumstances, the psalmist expresses a profound courage and fearlessness. The declaration, "I will fear no evil," reflects the unwavering trust and confidence in God's presence and protection even in the midst of life's darkest moments. Divine presence and comfort. God's presence. The psalmist finds solace in the assurance of God's companionship. The statement, "For you are with me," emphasizes the belief that God is present in the midst of adversity, providing comfort, guidance, and strength. Shepherd's rod and staff. Divine guidance. The mention of the shepherd's rod and staff reinforces the idea of God's protective and guiding presence. The rod was used for protection, while the staff was employed for guidance. Together, they symbolize God's watchful care and assistance during challenging times. In essence, the valley of the shadow of death in Psalm 23 captures the universal human experience of facing difficulties, fears, and uncertainties. It also communicates a profound trust in the protective and comforting presence of God, providing hope and assurance that even in life's darkest moments, divine guidance and companionship are steadfast. Thanks, an invitation to subscribe.